let's just get one thing straight. He is the most precious thing in the world to me. Well, him and Nick. Well, him and Nick and you. I intend to be the best mother he could hope for, but my job's important to me and I don't intend to give it up. Oh, please, Mummy, not that.
What?
Not your pained expression, anything but that.
I'm very sorry, Angela, but for some reason I'm finding it extremely difficult to force myself into a state of euphoria over this bombshell. Who exactly is going to look after him while you're gallivanting around? Or are you planning to just tether him somewhere like a goat?
We're planning to contact a nanny who's just finished working for the cousin of a friend of a friend.
And have you thought how you're going to break the news to this nanny that you can't afford to pay her anything?
That's just where you're wrong, Mummy. We're going to sublet the basement.
The basement? Oh, well, I can't see that bringing in much rent.
You'd be surprised.
I'd be astonished. What is the going rate for a hovel?
It's not a hovel. Might not win any prizes in the Ideal Home exhibition, but it's definitely not a hovel.
Well, how would you describe it, then? A tip with potential?
Shouldn't rub off too much dirt, Dad. It's probably all sold in it together.
Don't you start. I've had enough snide remarks for one day.
Has she by any chance annoyed you?
There I was, giving her a free ride, chatting away, trying to be nice and friendly, and what do I get? I'll tell you what I get. A steady stream of sarky one-liners. I reckon she thinks I'm too thick to know when I'm being insulted.
Yeah, but you knew what she was like. I've told you often enough.
Yeah, leave it out. I thought you were exaggerating. I mean, I only met her once, didn't I? Your wedding reception. Tell you the truth, I took a bit of a fancy to her.
You had a fair bit to drink, though, Dad. I mean, your powers of perception weren't exactly at their peak, were they? One stage, you had a long conversation with a tent pole. Before you passed out.
I don't remember.
Everyone else does. On the way down, you took the tablecloth with you and half the buffet. Come, Dad, cheer up.
Morning, son. I thought I'd get an early start in.
Yeah, well, nothing personal, Dad, but then you think you ought to give the neighbourhood a break and try these.
Don't you like Tom Jones, then?
Well, I just think it's best if you listen to him in the privacy of your own eardrums. There you go. Did you manage to make yourself comfortable in the basement last night?
Well, comfortable stretching it a bit. Have you seen the state of that bathroom?
Yeah, well, needs a bit of work, I suppose.
Leave it out. A bit of work? Cool.
Making a nice job of this.
Of course I am. It's my grandson's bedroom, innit? Hey? I'm approaching it with all the skill of a true craftsman. I'm thinking more Sistine Chapel rather than Tesco's. Talk to myself again.
It's a 4-day session in the Lake District. Someone's dropped out, so they want me to take over straight away. Now, look, I don't want to leave you, Angie, but we do need the money, right? It's for a caravan brochure.
I've seen a few caravan brochures. The caravans usually have half-naked, nubile models draped all over them.
Oh, no, not this one. I've checked. But it's still a worthwhile job.
Oh, go on then, pack your bags.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd say yes. Look, I better rush if I'm going to catch the Lake District before it shuts, all right? See you later.
Nick, 4 days, but what about the house?
I've taken care of it. I've got a man in.
But we can't afford a decorator.
Oh, no, he's not asking for much. In fact, I'm hoping you'll find his terms quite reasonable.
Nick, I'm worried. I'm really worried. About the baby, about money, about everything.
Oh, come on, love. Cheer up.
Mummy was in again this morning. She's besotted with walnut. But she made me feel really guilty.
Yeah, well, she's good at that. She'd make the Pope feel guilty.
But I deserve to feel guilty. We haven't thought this through, Nick. All this talk about renting out the basement to pay for a nanny so that I can work. The sums just don't add up. Have you any idea what a nanny costs?
I suppose she'd have to be part-time, that's all.
Yeah, I think you could call half an hour a week part-time.
Of course, what we really need is a 24-hour babysitter
He's
in
a
the basement.
very special baby, Nick. There's no way I'm going to entrust him to a stranger.
If I think really hard, I can come up with someone we know...
No, Nick, look. What would you say if I told you I decided to pack in my career, put aside my ambitions, sacrifice my dreams in order to become a full-time mum?
It wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't let you do it.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because you won't have to.
Eh?
Have you heard of the expression granny flat?
Yeah, of course I have. Oh, hold on. You say what I think you're saying. No, it's just for one hideous heart-stopping moment I thought you was going to suggest your mother moves in the basement. But you wouldn't do that to me, eh? Because you love me.
It makes sense, Nick. Even though it is Mummy's idea, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, I had my doubts, but then she started begging, Nick. Really begging. And the more I thought about it, she dotes on him, Nick. She really does. I know it's unforgivable not to have consulted you. It's only because I knew you'd say no. I feel awful about that aspect of it, because we've never had any secrets from each other, have we?
When's she planning to move in?
She's got to do it up first. She's got a lot of ideas. She's just gone off to get a tape measure.
Oh, nice.
And then she's going straight over to measure up. She might be able to get some ideas from that decorator you've got in.
Yeah, there's something I think you should know about that decorator, Andrew. He insists on living in the basement too.
What are you talking about?
He's a smashing bloke. I mean, in many ways, he reminds me of my dad. In fact, come to think of it, he is my dad.
This is a joke, Nick,
Oh,
isn't
I couldn't
it?
say no to him, Angie, could I? I mean, his grandson means everything to him. I mean, it's giving him a new lease of life. No, it's just your mum's bad luck that he got in there first. Anyway, she'll be able to nip down from Cheltenham from time to time, biannually.
Oh, Nick, what a mess. What are we going to do?
I don't know. Look, I'd better ring him and warn him she's on her way. Give him time to get his wagons in a circle. There's no reply.
Oh, Nick, where do we go from here?
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm off to the Lake District. Have fun.
Thanks.
See me naked, Daphne, you'll have to make an appointment just like the rest of them.
What are you doing here?
Well, till you come barging in, I was having a bath with Delilah.
I beg your pardon?
This is all a bit hush-hush. Nick knows all about it, but not a word to Angie, hey?
What?
I'm very uneasy about the rather wobbly approach to my grandchild's welfare.
I agree. Their attitude does scale the very peaks of irresponsibility that you still haven't explained.
Take it from one who knows, Daphne. Looking after a baby is a full-time job. They're always wanting. You're either shoveling it in one end or stemming the tide the other.
Am I to understand that you've installed yourself here without my daughter's knowledge, in the forlorn hope that when she returns from hospital, she will mistake you for Mary Poppins?
I know my way round babies, Daphne.
Well, I'm very sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings, but you'll simply have to move out again. I'm taking over this basement as a granny flat.
Hey?
It's entirely Angela's idea, I may say.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't Nick's.
Yes, well, time marches on, and I'd like to do some measuring up, so I'd be very grateful if you'd move your things out of there as soon as possible.